In Africa. Well, folks, we are back at it again. This love Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean online radio. We are back at it again, once again. It's hot here in Toronto. Yes, plus 27 degrees Celsius. Woo! It is hot and hot. It is hotter than hot. But we always complain. If it's cold, we complain. If it's hot, we complain. If it's rained so hard, we complain. But folks, here we are. My name is DJ TYB, the place to be. Petra is in the house. Ron is in the house. We have a special show for you today. Before we bring in AJJI, yes, folks, I would like to ask my co-hosts how they fared this week. Petra, how are you?
Hey, TYB. Hey, Love A family. Hey, Ron. Yeah, honestly, everything's fantastic. Honestly, I'm out here in the sun on location today. But yeah, I had a fantastic week. Just really, really giving thanks, really, really happy, So
Yes. Thanks be to God. We are alive. Well, folks, it's Love Afro Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean online radio. Highway 6 to Africa. Yeah. Blessings. Ron, how was your week?
Oh, my week was great. Fortunately, I live in a place in British Columbia, Canada, where some places have just got so warm. I live in a place where that hasn't happened. Fortunately, we live in temperatures sitting around 20 degrees, but we've had plus 30 in many places. And as many Canadians will have heard already, Jasper is the place that's been having the big troubles due to fires and stuff like that. One of our landmark cities in Canada, is a third of it has burned to the ground, and unfortunately for the people. And so my heart goes out to them today, because there are a lot of people there who've lost their homes there. So but personally for me, I've had a great week, done a lot of biking, done a lot of writing, so perfect week. I can't ask for better.
Yeah, my week has been tipsy-turvy. Yes, I lost my best friend this week. Yes. He died in his sleep. That's right. You know what? That's how life goes. But all the same, you know what? When we die, we're gone. But they're all the same. God bless his soul. Folks, we are here today. We are coming to give you some great conversation with our special guest, AJJI. And we are going to be having a very great conversation, as I say. He's in Jamaica, and here he comes, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, what have you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, AJJI is in the house. How are you doing?
Greetings. I'm so happy to be here, and I want to first and foremost thank you guys for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Love.
Big love, thank you. We are so happy also to have you here with me and my co-host Petra, and then Ron. Hey, this is an outfit for musicians. We are all artists, so you are among friends and a family. So you know what? Just cool up, relax, chillax. We are going to have a very great conversation. And as usual, the first question comes to you from Her Majesty Petra. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you, TYB. So gracious. Hi, AJJI. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Is it AJJI, or how do I pronounce your name?
No, Petra, that's AJJI. Yeah.
AJJI. Okay, awesome. Okay, wonderful. So AJJI, can you just explain to everybody? I like to ask my signature question. Who is AJJI? Like, can you tell the listeners who you are as an artist?
Sure, most definitely. AJJI is a dancehall reggae artist, a creative man. So I've always been the type of artist that can never be placed in a box. So hear a variety of music coming. I like it. That's Aside from I'm a father. I mean, I'm a brother. I mean, I'm
Sorry, Audrey, we're kind of losing you a little bit. We can't.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
Thanks, Petra. I thought it was me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh yeah, his reception. We're
Yeah, I
probably gonna
think
be doing
it's the
that.
reception. Yes, he will be coming back. But I think, folks, this summer, I think that a lot is happening in terms of in the world of music. And have you heard of any other like Petra? You perform at the Rasta Fest. Is it ongoing on this time around?
Yeah, Rasta Fest is gonna be coming up very, very shortly. So yeah, I can let you know exactly when the date's coming up. But yeah, that's going to be happening. I know there's going to be a great lineup as well. I know Tony P is going to be in the lineup as well, so I could definitely keep you posted.
Okay, yeah.
So I
Okay,
can let you know right now exactly when Rasta Fest is going to be.
that's right.
So Rasta Fest is going to be happening in Little Jamaica. It's going to be Friday, August 16th. Okay. Shout out to iStick. It's one of my friend's birthdays as well. Roots Reggae Radio, big up. But Rasta Fest is going to be happening Friday, August 16th, Reggae Lane parking lot from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. And Saturday, August 17th, in the Green Pea parking lot from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. And you're going to get food, artists, domino tournament, something for the kids and the family, and so much more.
That's a working calendar there.
Yes.
AJJI is back. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead, please. Yes.
Good to have you back, AJJI.
yes.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to repeat the question. If you don't mind, just sharing again with the listeners. So let them know, who is AJJI?
Yeah, so AJJI is a dancehall reggae artist. From a creative background. I like to create, so a lot of my songs have different sounds and different melodies, and I take different approach to music when I make music. So that's primarily who I am. Aside from that, I'm 100% Jamaican, 100% Irie, 100% love, and I'm just elated and excited to like share my music with the world.
That's fantastic. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And then just to ask you, so like, what made you get into music? Like, what is it? Why music?
I think from a tender age, because I started out when I was younger, like in the church choir and stuff like that. So I think from a tender age it was in me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it became a hobby during school, and then after school it became something that I took a lot more serious. So I can't say what made me get into it. I think I was born with it, to be honest.
I like that. In your DNA, right?
Yeah, man, in my skin.
I love that. Thank you. TYB?
Yeah. To follow up, how did it all start? How did it all start?
It started from the love for music was always there, but it started for me, I'd say professionally, um maybe about 8-10 years ago. um I started making records. I always had a knack for writing, so I used to be around artists who are more established than me, and I would always help them with writing until I gave it a try myself. So that's pretty much how it started for me. I think writing is like one of my skill sets that is the stronger one. So that's really how I, kind of got a foot into the game.
Wow. And when you started, did you get any resistance? Because talking about myself, speaking about myself, back home in Africa, everybody wanted their children to be either doctors,
Right.
lawyers, engineers, and stuff like that. So most of the time, I was hiding to go and play music. But you know what? I was caught at the very last time that I was preparing myself to leave the country.
Right.
And when I came in, well, it was great. And I have never looked back. And I love what I do. And, there was that resistance. especially when I was going to write my exams. It was my last paper that I was going to write, and my heart was in my mouth, and I was saying to myself, gosh, if I fail, I'm toast. But then God's so good. I passed my exams, and I look back, I said, well, that was great. So did you get any pushback from where you said?
I mean, I did, and I think what that is the fact when I actually started, it was evaluated, and they thought that it sounded good. So the resistance slowly went away, and I was able to pursue my career from there.
Yeah, yeah. And who was the culprit? Was it mom or dad or brothers or sisters, or who was that?
I mean, at first, it was a little bit iffy for everybody, as you would expect. I mean, as you just mentioned, it's not the traditional way to go. So everybody was a little bit on the fence about it. I guess it's about proving to them that you're serious about it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think that if you approach it with the level of professionalism that you would any job, any career, then people have no choice but to take it serious. You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Ron?
Yeah. Um, I guess my question will come to you is like, as a starting musician, we all grew up with different influences in our life, and who inspired us the most. I know I can think of literally many people who have inspired me over the years. Who do you think some of your biggest influences have been? People that have made you go, oh man, if I could write a song like that, man, I would just love it. So tell us some of your influences, please.
Uh, some of my influences came from observing artists when I was younger. Artists like Buju Banton that I went around when I was just like a kid. Baby Sham is always Bounty Killer. Some of my writing styles come from Vibes Cartel and everybody in that era. I think the thing about music is that it is so powerful in that whenever somebody expresses themselves and you consider it to be like a good expression, you automatically become a fan of them. So I'm a fan of a lot of people, and I have to give credit to all those people that came up before me because I grew up on their content.
Oh, absolutely. I understand for sure. I was talking to a world class producer this week, and we were talking about the songs that are put into what we call the cookie cutter format, which we know is 3 minutes. Better make the song 3 minutes, and it better have a verse, chorus, and no bridge, no solos, no nothing. What makes you different from being in the cookie cutter? I'll say it, the cookie cutter realm of music. What makes you different, in other words? Because I'm seeing so many songs out from young people. That sounds like everything else I'm hearing right now. That sounds like everything else. That
Right.
sounds like everything else. So what makes you different?
I mean, I think what makes me different is the fact that I'm on the edge, just like the name of the song, right? So
Mhm.
I strive to be different. I strive to approach it differently. Um, I'm based in Jamaica, and the music is coming out of Jamaica, and you're a musician, and you're a DJ. You're in the field, so you could see what I've been coming out of Jamaica for the past 3 to 5 years, and I can guarantee you, on the edge, this record that we're promoting right now is going to be different. And what we try to do is we try to remember that music is created to evoke an emotion, and it's created to enhance a mood. So we want when you play my songs, your mood change, no matter what direction I'm trying to put you in. And it's exactly why we write and curate the song the way we did, because we want so as long as I aim to affect your mood, then I will always be different, because some people are just writing songs just to write songs.
Petra, go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that as well, AJJI. And thank you for asking a question, Ron. So yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about On the Edge, AJJI? Like what inspired that song in particular?
On the Edge is a very special record to me. One, because it was introduced to me, and
Okay.
being a writer, it's very rare that somebody comes to me and say, "Hey, I have an idea." But it was
Mm.
right. So it was introduced to me by Big Yard, and I loved. Immediately, I thought that it was the type of music that makes you want to get up and dance, or hype you, make you want to go in the gym and work out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, I fell in love with it, and we went in the studio and we got it right in one night. And that's how,
Wow.
you know what I mean? We like to take the record, but we got it right in one night, and that's how I
Nice.
magic.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. So that is
Can
that
I?
typical of your style? Like, are you one of those artists that goes in there, drops it like one time?
I would, but then it would be from my pen. So the fact that this was, introduced to me in a different way, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to learn it. I had to learn the melodies. I had to build on it.
Okay, okay.
That's how much I like the record. So got it
Mm-hmm.
done one night, and I'm in love with how it sounds right now.
Yeah,
Can I?
no, honestly, it's
It's
go
nice.
ahead, Ron. What were you saying?
Yeah, I want to ask there. I know that numerous years ago, it used to take a group 9 months to a year to record an album. How come you're able to put together things, one song in the evening, where it used to take them, a month per song? What makes a difference that for you?
Uh, it's not so much of what makes a difference. I think it's more about the times that we're living. Um, I when I was a young boy and I was just observing in the studio when they had tapes. Remember when they had the tapes, the 24 track tapes and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, couldn't make a mistake because then you would have to do it
Exactly.
over,
Of
right?
course. Yeah,
So
yeah.
so what we try to do now is we try to vibe. So we vibe the record before we actually go into the studio. So we know what it sounds like. We pick out the words that we want to use. We make sure that it flows well with the melody, and then we go in there and we create that record because we have to embrace the fact that we are living in a world now that nobody has time to stop. You know what I mean? You have to keep giving them what they want because there's so much variety of things out there. So that's how we approach the music as well, and we're just blessed to be able to, arrive at this great sound with that method.
Hmm. Yeah, I just wonder why it takes superstars, like Michael Jackson, 9 months to a year to record an album, and you can do it in a very short period of time. I'm not saying you're not as good or anything of the likes. I'm just trying to inquire about why people. I've heard this many times. Why people are able to record albums in such a short period of time, where it used to take the superstars like so long to do to get things right. And that's just something I've noticed. Is that I hear people doing albums in 2 weeks to get it done in 2 weeks. Though, Michael Jackson and the likes took him months, months and months and months. So I
Right.
just would question about that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think primarily, what I don't want to be misunderstood is that it took me one night to record the song, having a different process that took a couple of weeks. But to go back to what you were talking about Michael Jackson, I think that's the best way to make music. I would love to be able to have the resources to make music the same way, and who
Yeah,
knows, maybe I would be able to make music in the same fashion. That way, I know that it is completely, what I mean, done in the correct way. So yeah, you have a good point.
yeah. I mean, he was working with producers like Quincy Jones, one of the
Right.
most awarding winning Grammy producer ever in time. So it's just a question I have about why we're able to do it so much. And I'm just wondering if this, I'm not saying this has anything to do with you, but I'm just wondering is as much thought and care is put into it as it what used to be. And I don't want to cut you off here, TYB, so I'll let you
Oh,
carry,
but
but it's just a thought I
I
have.
wanted to interject there, Ron.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sure.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I have to agree with AJJI because I'm that kind of artist. Like, I've gone into the studio and did a song with Ras Morgan. We recorded Show Me Love,
Oh, yes.
and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
recorded that song in one time with the studio.
Oh,
I heard his verse, wrote my response, boom, done. heard the second verse, wrote it, boom, done. That song sat at #1 like for so many weeks. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I think it's like a process.
Mama.
Like 1 second, baby, I'm on the
Why did
radio.
the queen go to
Like 1 second, I'm on the radio. I'm on the radio,
Why
baby.
did the queen go to the dentist?
Why did she go to the dentist?
To get her teeth crowned.
Nice. Thank you. Sorry, little interjection from that's Kingsley there. I will, baby. So yeah, so as I was saying now, like when I recorded the second verse, I heard Ras Morgan's verse, boom, wrote my response. So and that, you know what I'm saying? So I think it depends on the kind of artist you are in your process. And for me, when I write, like music for me is a download. So I get my music and my inspiration from my higher power. So that will just come down. I'll write it, record it, boom, and it's out. So I think it depends on the process. Not to say that what you're saying, Ron, isn't incorrect. I think if you can spend a lot of time on a song, like a fine wine is refined, right? However, I feel again it's all about processes. It's like when inspiration hits you in the studio, like you can bang out like 10 songs. Look at Conscience, TYB. In COVID, he wrote 70 songs. When we interviewed Conscience, he wrote 70 songs in COVID. You know what I mean? Like that's how many albums. It's just maybe like right now, maybe he doesn't have that type of like. It depends. Who knows? But it's a process and a season. So I just kind of wanted to interject with that.
And I think Kati Matete and Perfect Gidimani too. 24 hours, boom. He sends the music to Kenya. She does it. 24 hours, bang, and it was done. Great music. So yeah. Yeah, AJJI, my question to you will be, what challenges, you said you've been in the business for the past 10 years, if I'm correct. So what challenges have you faced in your career and how did you overcome them?
I don't think the challenges that are only subjective to me. I think everybody faces challenges. I think that the main point to take away from it is you just gotta keep pushing through, you know? You just have to keep going. What we're doing, what you are doing, Love Bay, Petra is doing what we're doing. We're doing something that we love. And if you're doing something that you love, then you're not gonna stop. You understand?
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, my doctor when I was a kid is still a doctor. The guy who made my uniform when I was going to school when I was a boy, he's still making uniforms. So stop. This is what I love and this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about just doing what you love. You gotta do what you love, you know.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes.
Yeah, the doctor is still there. Yeah,
The doctor's still there.
See, what I was trying to drive at was that, I mean, like when I started going to the studio, not like back right now where you can just pick up your cell phone and do beep, 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 and then go there and then edit and do whatever you want on the phone. Back then, you know what? After you've even made a record, you just have to go through DJs. That's if they are going to play, if you have the money. But today it's not like that. Right. Today we are chatting. Technology has advanced it. You don't even have to sign a contract with the big boys. You're doing it your own way, so that the challenges that we faced back then, it's not there. So my whole question was that, have you faced anything outside of the fact that when we had to go through DJs where they were looking for payolas and all those kind of stuff, you know what? Back then it was there, but today it's not like that. So have you faced anything like that in your musical career over the past 10 years since you started? People wanting to, DJs wanting to cut corners and say, you know what, AJJI, you know, I'm going to play your music, but hey, you have to do this. Or even promoting your music. You know, that is where I'm driving at.
Okay, understood. I think primarily what's better to understand, Love Bay, is that everybody go through the same challenges. There are DJs who like my music, who play today, and there are some that there are some of them that they are aligned with other people, so they don't necessarily play my stuff, you know. But when you find the right amount of people who are willing to believe in your dream, who are willing to that investment, because unless you make an investment in me, I'm going nowhere, baby. Right. So that's why I told you guys at the beginning that I'm so happy that I'm on this program, because it takes people like you to put me there, you know, and it's not all the time that you knock on a door it's going to be answered. So the fact that you guys answered, I'm greatly appreciative of that. And it's just a matter of, if one door is closed, you move to the next door. That's all it
That's
is.
it.
It's going to
That's it.
happen to all of us.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and we at Love Bay here, that's exactly what we do, because all of us, the three of us are artists. And you know what? We really want to highlight artists. Of course, if the music is clean, right? We want to highlight artists. Not if it's there, we will do it. The music, we'll play it. No, nothing. Because that's what makes Love Bay HW6 to Africa different from the others.
Right.
Because we want to project that in music, because music is music, artists are artists. So that's why we said that you are among friends, you're among family, so that we will be able to help you promote the music. And that's what we are doing. And yes, and we appreciate you and you know, and Elite Music for bringing you here, and Zoe and you know, Raskash and all that, everybody out there. We appreciate it, and we are so happy to be working with you guys. Ron?
Yeah, I was just thinking, a question I often ask on the show is the songwriter's writing process. As a person who went to university for music and been studying it for over 50 years, I get curious about how people do it. So many people do it different ways. There's no right or wrong to all this. I know that, for instance, when I'm trying to figure out a song, lots of times, or starting, I start with the piano, because I'm a piano player as well. Or I'll pick up the guitar or something like that to start my songs out. Like I was doing one this week, it was E minor 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, so what? B flat, it just went to different places. So what is your process for starting a song up? And I know many people say they just get a beat from somewhere and then they start writing the lyrics. I guess that means you have no say in the song then, or other than you have to find something to somebody else's song. So I'm curious about how you write the songs.
Good question.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think what makes music great is the fact that everybody have their own creative styles.
Yeah.
I'm more of a writer. Some people, they want to hear the instruments first. I could come up with something clever to say before I hear the instruments, or I could hear the instrument and then think of something to say on the instrument. And there's a lot that I've learned about music throughout the years from writing music as well, that made me realize that everybody plays an important role, you know. So a lot of musicians have a song and then they get the instruments placed behind it. Sometimes it starts the other way around. So my process is just to make the words flow and fit and sound as best as they can. And I've learned so much from artists that I've worked with over the years, especially Taurus Riley, which is a good friend of mine. And, and I would say something like, "Girl, I want to see you on the beach," and he would say to me, "The words don't flow the way they should. So instead, say, sweetheart, let's meet under the sunset." There you now have sweetheart, let's meet under the sunset, which sounds better.
Yeah.
It's so writing is a skill, playing the instrument is a skill, bringing it together it's a skill. What the engineer and the mastering guy has to do, it's all a skill. And I think that that's what makes it magical. So my process might be the writing process. That's my strong point. But I credit the whole thing. I give credit to the whole thing.
When you say writing, what do you mean? I'm not sure. I often hear people saying they do writing, but which part of it do you do? Are you just the lyrics? Is that what you take care of? Or do you take care of the music? What part of this, or all of it? I know some artists take care of everything, right from front to end. So what do you do? Are you looking for other people's music? How does that work for you?
Yes, what I do is I'm a composer of the lyrics. So I'm an author on the track. And oftentimes the instrumental, which is what we would call the music, is all created, and that's when I come in and add the words to it.
So do you have much of a say of whether you can change the format of the song? I know that as I was saying, something to a producer, and he and I were both agreeing that some of the songs today basically all sound about the same. As I said that before, a cookie cutter thing where forget the bridge, forget the solos of any sort. We're going to throw those all out. But what happens if you want to say, I would like a guitar solo in here, or a sax solo, or I'd like some strings in here? Do you have much say in that?
Oh yeah, most definitely. But here's how it works, Ron. How it works is that I would deliver vocally the song as how it's supposed to be structured. The guy that does the mixing and the mastering, he's the one who is going to eliminate instruments to facilitate the bridge, eliminate instruments to facilitate the solo, leave a saxophone or leave a piano in one particular area if you want that to be a solo area. So yeah, it is definitely something we do. Because we're not performing with an orchestra, it's not as live as you'd want it to be, but it's definitely something that we do in the mixing phase of creating the record.
So so in other words, are you using real drummers? Because real drummers have a feel like nobody else. Machines and computers. I know as a person that's worked with both, machines just do not sound like humans. They don't have that feel that humans do. Do you ever use very much for ever having all recording artists in the studio to say, everybody's got a job here today. We're going to do it, get it done. Just like I'd say, 99% of all the best artists do. Do you do that much, or are you mostly using drum machines and samples and like that for your drum tracks and stuff?
So I have used live before in the past, but for the most part, it's drum machine.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the thing that we were getting at one time was that the feel then sort of gets thrown out. Not saying, and this is not indicative of you, just lots of times I'm seeing feel of humans being thrown out for machines. So it's just a thought that I've had with many musicians, and the best ones that I've worked with are all going, yeah, let's get a real drummer for this. But that's my thought. Petra, are you there? I can't tell for sure.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm on location, so I'm going in and out. 1 second.
Okay.
In and out, but I'm still here, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Most definitely. So when it's,
go ahead, please.
Can you what, Ron?
No, go ahead.
Say, Ron?
No, I was just going to say if TYB can elaborate on what I said and all, but go ahead, Petra. If you're with us, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Did you want to go TYB? Did you want to elaborate?
No, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So AJJI, I wanted to ask you, so what do you feel like, what can you define your style, and then what do you think you're bringing new to the reggae and dancehall scene right now that no other artist is doing?
Good question.
There's two questions there. Yeah.
I would say that my style is melodic, which is similar to a lot of dancehall records. But here's the good thing now. For a couple of years, the music being channeled out of dancehall is a little bit dark.
Exactly.
That the way it alters the mood of the listener, kind of a dark, concept. And so what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to go the opposite way. I want to make it light. I want to make it fun. I want to make it happy. And
nice.
It's not popular to have happy music because, to the ears of people who are to the dark side of music, it's not necessarily what they, they're hearing. So what makes me different is the fact that I'm bringing a lighter, more fun, more melodic expression to the music.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I really love that. Yeah, because I'm a reggae artist, right? And I feel like, I did a little bit of dancehall, but I gravitated more towards reggae because it's more conscious. You know what I mean? But I love the fact that you're putting a different spin on dancehall, taking it back to the original. When dancehall music first started, it didn't have so much negative connotations. There wasn't so much bad man this and bad man that. It was more about people coming together and celebrating and enjoying the music, you know what I mean? And, like it had humor to it, comedy, like, you know what I'm saying? It was more jovial. But I love the fact that you're bringing a more lighthearted energy back to dancehall music. So just to kind of a little bit elaborate on that question, um, where do you see yourself going with this? Where do you see yourself going with your music in the next 5 years from now? And what impact do you think you bringing a more of a positive connotation to dancehall music is going to have on the industry?
I think it's just gonna broaden the gonna it's gonna make industry more accepted by a lot more people all around the world.
Mm,
They love reggae, they love dancehall. But I mean, most of them agree that it's a little bit dark, and
mm-hmm.
they have their crowd for that. Don't get me wrong, they have their fans for that. But um,
True.
if we could have a different perspective, I think it would go a far way. I think a lot of artists before my time have done it as well, and I have to give credit to them. But there's not, so that's why we create this record, and that's why we're taking this approach, because we could have done anything else, you know what I mean? But we're
True.
taking this approach because we want reggae style to stand out as something.
That's amazing. Thank you, Aji. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. We love it. We love positive vibes, you know? For sure.
And folks, we are in conversation with AJJI, dancehall artist, a budding superstar. Well, we are going to be hearing more about him in the next decade and decades and decades to come. Folks, how, how do you stay motivated and productive?
Wow. It gets hard as it does with everybody else. It's good to stay spiritual. I'm not gonna go into what spirituality means for me
That's
and
right.
what it means for you, but overall, spirituality is important. You have to believe in something higher than you. You have to be able to, I mean, have faith in that. And I think that when you're doing the right thing innately, your mind tells you that good things are going to happen to you. So what I can say to you is do the right thing, and good things will definitely happen for you.
Amen.
Yeah, man.
Amen. Amen.
Agreed.
Amen. And can you share any lessons you have learned from failure or mistakes during your
Oh,
career?
Um, it's once it happens, then it goes in the past, and that's the greatest thing about mistakes. Once it happens, it goes right in the folder that says past. It's behind you. So the best thing you can do is
Preach.
not look back at it, look
Preach
forward,
on, brother. Preach on,
and
brother.
Tell them.
and try your best to let it happen again. But once it happened, don't worry about it. It's behind you now.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Exactly.
Ron.
Um, yeah, I would like. I'm interested in knowing who maybe you have collaborated with, and maybe artists who you would prefer or would like to collaborate with in the future.
Wow, that's a very good question, Ron.
Mhm.
So far I've done so many works. I've collaborated with Busy Signal.
Nice.
I've collaborated recently with Taras Riley.
Hmm.
He was
Um,
just in Toronto. That's nice.
yeah. I was just in Toronto as well. I collaborated in the past with my good friend Christopher Martin as well. So there's a lot of work that we've done in the past. Futuristically, um, I think it would top it up if I was able to collaborate with Vibes Cartel, because he's kind of one of my musical heroes. We'll
Nice.
we'll see how that pan out. You know what I mean? Free work,
Soon come out. Hopefully, they say.
most definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
So, can I ask, what do you think will help to bring your career up a step? So, in other words, what do you think needs to happen in order for you to maybe hit as high as you'd like to go? So, what are you needing to do? Do you think to make your career blast through the roof?
Yeah, so I really intend on using the music, and I really intend on it. I was looking on TikTok yesterday, and there was this little girl. I don't know what her age was, but she talked to the song. That I think that if I do that repetitively, then I'm gonna be all right. Because I want it to come from the people. We're now where there's a lot of different distractions and people are using a lot of different marketing strategies to promote music. But I don't want it that way. I want it to the people. I want the people to fall in love with it. I want them to. I want kids to sing it. And if they do it, it doesn't matter what it says on paper. If they love it, then I'm gonna feel accomplished, and I'm gonna deem myself successful. So that's really what who I'm. You know?
TYB, I'll throw it over to you.
That's right. That's right. Folks, we are in conversation with the amazing AJJI. He's all the way beautiful country. I won't say island. Beautiful country of Jamaica, where things happen, reggae, dancehall, what have you. My other question to you will be, how do you balance your personal and professional life?
Wow. That too is very hard. But what I have to do is I have to set a schedule, and I gotta stick to my schedule.
Mm.
At a particular time, I do something from 1 hour to the next, and once that is done, I'm on to the next. So I have to kind of be robotic in order to make everything work. So it's rigorous. The funny thing about it is, I used to work 9 to 5, right, regular jobs. I used to do that a few years ago, and I thought to myself, man, this is hard. I would like to be able to not have to do this, and now I'm not doing it, and I can tell you it's hard.
Fantastic.
I don't have a reason to get up to go to work, but I still get up to make sure that I'm on point with what I'm doing. So, you know, it's harder, but it's more fulfilling though.
And
Definitely,
True.
and AJJI,
yeah,
that is work too.
and that's work.
Yeah, that is work. Yeah.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
lifestyle.
It's 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. Your craft is your life. That's when you have a craft. It's not a job, it's a craft.
That's
Oh,
You
right.
yeah.
know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
That's right.
TYB? Okay, cool. I could jump in.
Jump in.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, just to kind of jump on, elaborate on some of the things you mentioned, right, in relation to marketing. So I do have a marketing agency, little plug PKG Digital Marketing. But in relation to that, so Ron asked you like the different types of strategies. Have you thought about like, because I see a lot of dancehall artists, they have like a dance routine. Have you thought about having a dance routine with like your music, or do you not want to go that route? You know what I mean, right? Like everyone has a routine. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just laughing at TYB there. Sorry.
oh, CTRB dancing. CTRB's ready. He's ready for the
Yeah,
move, Aji.
yeah. I'm gonna make people have fun with it. A lot of people they try to, curate these dances themselves, and I
Mhm.
think to do that, then what you're doing is you're you're kind of putting it on people to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I think that it's a record that's definitely gonna make you dance. I'm leaving it up to the people because I'm not a dancer myself, so I have
You
to leave.
lie. I know you have moves.
I
Come
try,
on.
I try. Yeah, but I'm not a dancer myself. I'm leaving it up to the people, and I'm sure they're gonna come up with one. And if it is that we may want to run a challenge for that or a competition for that, then we're definitely open to that as well. As we're using a lot of different marketing strategies to get this song. Because here's the thing that we have to understand about music. Music is of the world, and I told you
Exactly.
I'm a spiritual person. Music is
Mm-hmm.
of the world, so what that means is that it belongs to a separate entity. So good music don't really go as
Exactly.
far as bad music, and good music don't go as far as music with bad influence. And it's a
True.
sad fact, you know what I mean? So
It's true. Yeah.
right, so it's we gotta approach marketing from a different standpoint, and
Mm-hmm.
we have to really go harder than the songs that are bad. Sad to say, we gotta go harder than the songs that are bad.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know what it
Yeah.
is? I'd say the thing is the difference is instead of going harder, it's just to make more of an impact. And I think from you singing positive music and inspirational music, it's gonna leave an impact. So it's just to
Hmm.
make sure that impact leaves a lasting impression is louder than the people that are pushing that negative connotation and influence for their music. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. Most
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And then I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you, because you mentioned the children too, right? And I think it's really good, like because your kind of music can definitely be a positive impact on them. Because as you said, so many of the young people are impacted by the negative connotations and that within the music. You know what I mean?
Most
So I
definitely.
wanted to ask you, yeah, it's true. So I wanted to ask you in relation to the young people, like, what advice would you give to a little AJJI, that's out there listening right now that wants to follow in your footsteps, and continue that legacy of what you're establishing with positive dancehall and the positive messages? Or what advice would you give to them?
Well, first I would say stay true to yourself, because unless you're true to yourself, um, the people are gonna see right through you. You know what I mean? And if you're not true to yourself, you're not gonna find the energy that you would require to get to do this on days that it doesn't look so promising. I mean, so unless you're true to yourself, you're gonna get sucked in by the negatives of the world and the business and the industry. So first, be true to yourself. Secondly, continue to work on yourself. Try to improve yourself every day. That is important. And thirdly, remember that your dream is your dream. That's why it's called your dream. So don't let anybody
Exactly.
believe in it except for you. Just believe in it yourself.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I'm inspired. Thank you. Everyone,
Uh,
thanks you. Kinti, go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, I have a question in regard to, as you may or may not know, you probably do, of course, the wealthiest musicians in the world are the ones who play live performances. That's where the money is. It's clearly, we
Right.
all as musicians know that playing and performing live. Do you think you're up for or ready to do and booking places full of 30,000 plus people, so that you can actually make a living doing this, and at least a one where you're being able to survive as a not a starving musician, but at least one that's living in some kind of healthy lifestyle. So do you think you're going to be able to book 30,000 plus people per night at every place you play? Do you think? And one of the things I say this for is because, as TYB and I agree, not always Petra, but that's okay. And that is that we love seeing groups that play with people on stage with them that are not just dancers, but actual musicians that are playing with them. So tell me, are you working towards that? And if so, how? And do you think you're able to do that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Very good question, Ron. So my team that I'm working with, this is something that we discussed. We put a lot of hard work into this. A lot of hard work comes a lot of resources as well, and somehow you're gonna have to recoup that. You know what I'm saying? So this is something
Mm-hmm.
we're discussing. 30,000 people a night. That's a great goal to set. Um, we'd be blessed to hit those numbers. We're working towards taking the first step, even to hitting those numbers. So it's nothing that we're doing right now is with a temporary mindset or short-term goal. We really want to take a different approach to music, and we really want to take a different approach to live performance as well. So that is something that we are looking forward to. The good thing about that is that with social media and everything else that is going on, it is not far fetched for us to achieve that. So all we have to
Mm-hmm,
do is
exactly.
stay focused and keep doing, and we would definitely achieve that goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just curious because are you ever performing with live musicians on stage who are actually playing the parts instead of a DJ
Yeah, I have played with live musicians before.
with your own music though?
Yeah, with my own music, most definitely. Um, but yeah, you couldn't said it. You couldn't have said it better. On that, I think your idea is the ideal idea of what music is supposed to be, and it gives you the real feeling hearing those instruments. It gives you the real vibe. It gives you the real energy. And music is an energy source. So I'm 100% in support of that. And with support of people like yourself and Petra, you know what I mean, the whole show, with support from people like you,
Yeah.
we definitely goals. We can hit those goals.
I say this after seeing a Madonna concert, and maybe I shouldn't have mentioned her name, in February. and she played. She didn't have she had the occasional musician that came out and did one song with one instrument, but she didn't have the whole band with her. And I know she records with the whole band. And I walked away from the concert, and my brother, who's a real music fanatic as well, he and I both looked at each other and sort of thought, what a waste of time that was, because it was so boring. Sure, they had all the dancers all over the stage. She was walking all over between dancers and stuff. And I thought, okay, this is great, but I don't even know where this music's coming from. But then my friend, he went to a fellow, his name's Brian Adams in Canada. He's an icon. And he played with a band, and my brother said it was the best concert he ever went to. And Brian only plays with about 4 guys on stage. All it took was 4 guys instead of 40 dancers, at least by Madonna, at least 40 people. So I was just curious if that's a goal of yours to try to achieve, because Brian Adams probably made a lot more money that night with only 4 people to pay than he did Madonna trying to pay for 40 people to play. So I'm just curious to know if that's a goal of yours in the future to do that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's definitely going to be a goal of mine, especially going into the European market, because they have a greater love for live music.
Yes.
And then, to be honest with you, there are some places where they prefer the record being played over a system. They prefer the dance.
Yeah.
For the whole.
Exactly.
So it's all about identifying the market that has a need for the live music and identifying the market that doesn't. Yeah.
It's just a question. I'd like to know if people are.
It's genre specific.
Yeah, it's just
genre specific, because I'm also a reggae artist, and we can sing with the on top of music with, like, sound system, because that's cultural, what I'm saying, and also we can sing with a live band. It's good when an artist has the versatility, because there's some people that can only play with a band and could never play with a sound, you know what I mean? So I think if you could be an artist that has that level of versatility, it shows your level of skill set, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just know that Bob Marley always played with a band, and I don't think he ever did canned music. That just wasn't his style. Bob was always, into playing the music, and that's why one of the reasons, amongst many, that Bob Marley did fairly well.
Most definitely, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes,
and also the time period too. So,
maybe
if it was around now and he had a chance to kind of fill around with a sound, you never know. We'd have some different remixes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
That's something to get mixes done,
Yeah,
my music is like eclectic. It can be anything you want it to be, that's why I love music.
I
Yeah.
And folks, we are getting closer to the end of the show, but hey, there's still more room out there for us to ask a couple more questions. What are some strategies you use to handle stress or pressure? Because this industry is not easy like people may think.
Right.
It is not easy at all.
Absolutely not.
What are some of the strategies you use to handle stress or pressure?
Well, for me, it's sometimes it's just going home and just like turning everything off and just like holding a meditation, relaxing my mind. Or other times it's like going in the gym and like working out, But whatever.
Good for you.
Whatever it is for me, it's a reset. It's a mental reset. So if something is not working out, I don't stress it too much. I do a mental reset. I go to bed. I wake up tomorrow. It's a new day, and I take a different approach.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't have said it any better than what you said. And the last question that I'll ask is, how many awards?
Don't ask me how many girlfriends I have.
Oh no, that's personal.
Trouble now.
That's personal.
How many wives do you have?
Yeah. How many awards? I mean, I'm looking at you, I've listened to your music, and I'm learning more about you. And this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever you may be, folks, I've learned a little bit about you. The conversation that we are having, you are a man built for success. How do you see yourself in terms of awards, Grammys, what have you? How do you picture yourself within the next 3 or 4 years going in there, competing with whoever you want to compete with?
Wow, that's a very good question. That's a strong question too. I don't think I would ever look at it as a competition though. I think that primarily I just want to continue to outdo myself in making music. Because here's the thing that a lot of people don't know. I'm not gonna state the names, but I've written songs for big reggae artists, big dancehall artists before.
Wow.
Nice.
So even if they were to get a grant, then chances are, so that's how I do it. I want to create as much music that I can in the most creative way that I can, and everything else will work itself out, to be honest with you.
Awesome. Any final words, Petra? I mean, any final words that you would like to share with us and with AJJI? Because AJJI has turned my whole afternoon great, because we are having this great conversation, and you've given us some gems, and you know what? I congratulate you for doing what you do, and then to Elite Music Management, everybody, Zoan, and Raskash, everybody out there with that management. You are doing so much. I mean, it's so great and refreshing to have artists like you coming from that camp, and we look forward to getting more of artists like you. That's my final word. But then, Petra, you go ahead and hit it off the ballpark.
Most definitely. Well, honestly, TYB, you said it very, very eloquently. But I just want to say, AJJI, like, you're a very talented artist. You have wonderful energy. You have a phenomenal spirit. And I really love what you bring into the dancehall industry. And I know you're going to have a humongous impact. You remind me of OMI, if I'm pronouncing it right. Like, you have an OMI type vibe. And when I check out your streams today, 1.3 billion, you know, I see you reaching those heights. So continue to make phenomenal music, continue to impact the youth. And we wish you the best. Love Bay family is here to support you.
Thank
you. Yeah. And I'd say I like your attitude about not being in competition with anybody. Kudos to you for that, because you know what? The only person you should be in competition with is yourself. And the other thing that struck me that you just said recently is about getting some, you know, either it's meditation or whatever it is. I always stress to people when they ask me, and you're not asking me, but I'll tell you anyways. And that is, if to keep yourself fit with exercise. Exercise is the savior of your soul and your body. And that's something that I would say, keep doing. Kudos to you. I know I ride for at least an hour or two every single day that I can. So that is a lifesaver for you. So keep doing that. And I say, right on.
Awesome. And AJJI, before you go, how can people reach you or get your music?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Well, my phone is always in my hand, so my Instagram is AJJI World, AJJIWORLD, and if you hit me there, you get me everywhere. It's AJJI World right across. It's AJJIWorld.com. It's AJJI World on TikTok, Thread, on Twitter. So you can hit me there at any time, you know.
Awesome. And on that note, folks, we would like to thank the production staff, Ron, Petra, and you know what? Elite Music, Zoan, Raskash, and you for taking a time from your busy schedule to be with us this afternoon, this morning, this evening. You know, come back again anytime. This is your radio station too. And folks, take care of yourselves and each other. We hope to be back in 7 days with another artist, a great artist like AJJI. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye, Love Bay family.
Take care.